Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chentex Multimedia live streaming to you all the way from Brisbane, and it's wonderful to have your company on this 28th day of January 2021. Yes, 28th of January already, so this year is off to a flying start, and it is just flying away. There's so much that we need to talk to you today. We will bring to you the coverage from the Indian Republic Day flag raising ceremony right here in Brisbane at the Indian Consulate office. As we mentioned, that there's quite a few events that we'd like to cover, so that we'll feature today. And tomorrow we'll have the glimpses from Hindu Society of Queensland and Vishnu Maya Mandir. So today our main feature would be the flag raising ceremony at Indian Consulate, and then we will be followed up with the weekly travel update with Tanvi Goel of AusIndia Travel. But before we get into all of that, let's take a look at what the weather has in store for us. With that, let's welcome Dilraj Dillon.
Good morning, everyone. Weather forecast for the rest of today is maximum 29 degrees. Brisbane area is partly cloudy with medium chance of showers. Wind southeasterly 15 to 25 km per hour. Fire danger is low to moderate. Sun protection is recommended till 10 past 4 and UV index is predicted to reach 14, that is extreme. Till tomorrow, stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you very much for that update, Dilraj. Well, right now, as we know, we have just celebrated India Day, India's Republic Day and Australia Day, and quite unique circumstances that these 2 days are the same date, the 26th of January, which also is the anniversary of Hindu Society of Queensland and Vishnu Maya Mandir as well. But on this occasion, the Prime Minister sent a message which we will play today. So here's that message from our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, on India's Republic Day and Australia Day.
G'day and namaste. What a wonderful coincidence it is of our history that the 26th of January, Australia Day, is India's Republic Day, a national day shared between friends. Of course, Australia and India share more than our national day. We pursue the same ideals, the ideals of democracy, of freedom, of liberty, diversity, enterprise, opportunity, building a better world based on these important principles. Our history is long and our connections are many. And with each year, we become even closer. The global pandemic has not divided us, but has made us appreciate these shared ideals even more. 6 months ago, my good friend Prime Minister Modi and I signed a comprehensive strategic partnership, a major step forward for our trade and investment, defence and scientific partnerships. It speaks to our trust in each other, our common interests and our common values. And we continue to nurture deep people-to-people ties, the threads that bind us together. One of the things we celebrate on Australia Day is our diversity. Today there are more Australians with Indian ancestry than ever before. Great citizens, great neighbours, adding another dimension to our shared Australian story. This is a great thing for Australia and a great thing for our relationship. Of course, this summer, Australians have been enthralled by one of the best Test series in memories. Remarkable cricket, the magic of sport, that the best of friends also can be the fiercest of competitors on the sporting field. Over a century ago, one of Australia's earliest Prime Ministers, Alfred Deakin, said of our relationship with India, the distance which separates us is being steadily diminished year by year. More than 100 years later, that's still true. And Deakin didn't count on a pandemic, though. And because of that, this past year, the free flow of peoples between our two countries is not what it has traditionally been. But I want to assure you, Australia is looking forward to welcoming more of our Indian friends and family and students and residents back to our shores when we get to the other side of this pandemic. So today, we celebrate our country and we send our best wishes to one of our truest friends. Happy Australia Day and Sabo Logoko. Happy Republic Day.
Authorised by S. Morrison.
And a wonderful message there on the occasion of the Republic Day of India. Of course, as we know that our day always begins on the 26th by visiting the Indian Consulate office. So let's go there and take a look. This is an exclusive coverage of Australian Indian Radio and Chantex Multimedia. So this is at 1758 Tiringa Road. And as you can see that everyone's gathering there, and as we do every year, due to COVID-19 and other things, so the crowd was still quite reasonable, I'd say, when you consider the circumstances. But even then, everyone was there to, celebrate the Republic Day flag raising ceremony together with the Consulate and Professor Singh.
Jai Hind. Now we should also try and sing.
So we've just finished the Indian National Anthem, and then it is a good gesture. Everyone going to sing Australian National Anthem as well.
Let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Hooray! Thank you all for coming on such a great day that we have, and I would all request you in these COVID times to practice some social distancing. We're still not out of the woods
welcoming
yet.
everyone.
And now I'll request our Honorary Consul, Mr. Archana Singh, to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to each one of you. Today we celebrate India's Republic Day and also commemorate Australia Day. I pay my respect to the first speaker. India was declared a sovereign, secular, democratic republic, wedded to the ideals of equality, liberty, freedom, democracy, and the rule of law. This is a point worth pondering. How did the founders of a post-colonial India come to imagine a democratic polity in a setting that many ruled unfit for democracy? Who, after all, thinks of universal franchise when the literacy rate at the end of British rule was a mere 17%, when more than 60% of the country was below the poverty line, and when more than 20 languages were spoken in the country? India, however, has been wedded to republican and democratic ideals that can be traced back to the 6th century before Christ. Even though at independence in 1947, India lay stripped bare of her wealth and resources by the rapacity of her colonial masters, the leadership at the time did not view these as insurmountable obstacles. Instead, they decided that voting rights each citizen, regardless of their station in life, could be assumed to know their own best interests. The age-old democratic tradition was invoked once again by modern India, reflected in the Constitution that confers fundamental rights and liberties to each and every citizen. Indian democracy is the largest and also the most resilient, and offers platforms and avenues to address the concerns and issues of its 1.3 billion population in a peaceful way within a legal and administrative setup. Today we remember with gratitude the many freedom fighters, the many men and women of India who made tremendous sacrifices for India's independence. Their selfless sacrifices made independence possible. We reaffirm our commitment to the philosophy of freedom and equality and the methodology of peace that crystallized under the leadership of the great Mahatma Gandhi. He took on the might with only his moral conviction that each one of us deserved to be free and treated with respect. India has come a long way since independence and has earned the admiration and respect of the world across all sectors. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, or Self-Reliant India campaign, is the vision of the new India of the 21st century, envisaged by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. The aim is to make the country and its citizens independent and self-reliant in all senses, outlined in the 5 pillars of Atmanirbhar Bharat: the economy, the infrastructure, the systems, vibrant demography and demand. This self-reliance, though, in no way means an inward-looking economy or a world view. During the COVID-19 pandemic crisis that unfolded during the past year, India has performed exceptionally well, with one of its lowest mortality rates and one of the highest recovery rates in the world. India has also demonstrated yet again good neighborly concern for countries at hand to countries further afield such as South Africa, Brazil and Morocco, just to name a few, thereby demonstrating the age-old belief in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Through the COVAX alliance and Vaccine Maitri, India aims to save millions worldwide through an equitable distribution of the 2 vaccines being made in India. The World Health Organization chief, Dr. Tedros, has heaped praise on India for this great contribution. Today, more than ever before, the ideals and values that celebrate our human family must be guarded and promoted throughout the world. Today, we also commemorate Australia Day. We celebrate our adoptive home and her glorious values of multiculturalism and equality of all citizens. As Australians of Indian heritage, we bring to this great nation a social ethic that values diversity and respect for others. We also pledge to strengthen our vibrant society with our shared commitment to the Commonwealth, democracy and world peace. Jai Hind. I will now request
the Honorary Consul of India has spoken splendidly, as she always does, apprising us what India has been able to achieve, despite all the hurdles and the difficulties across her path. Democracy in India, as she said, is as old as the skies. It goes back to the Vedic Ganarajyas, where it was said in the Rig Veda, Vishastva sarve vanchantu. The rulers have to be endorsed and elected by all the people. As the wheel of time grinds on without a cease, we are here once more. The Republic Day of India is with us once again, just like the Australia Day. And what a year it has been. The ravages of a raging pandemic has laid us all low. There has been great economic devastation. There has been great disruption of lives. The economy of the world is in doldrums. Human suffering is incalculable. And only mocks at human bereavement. All kinds of barriers are thrown up to protect us from each other. And yet, our future and our happiness are inextricably interwoven. We need each other. We need to help each other. Countries and nations help each other and have to help each other. Isolation is never splendid. Isolation is always an illusion. The interdependence of the world is a reality, and it cannot be wished away. It cannot be whittled down. My thoughts go back to the debate that rages in the papers and amongst educated people about the climate change and the rising temperatures of the world. How many of us do care? As the temperature rises, the bats and creatures of the world will very sorely try human skill and human medical advancement. The hypothesis of progress posits that yesterday was better than the day before, and today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. And yet there are many amongst us who believe that the golden age was a long time ago in the past, Satya Yuga, and that you and I are denizens of the age of Kali, the age of decline, where our moral degeneration is responsible for whatever we suffer from. Well, as I think all about it, I feel that time certainly accounts for progress. But there are natural calamities, and the activities of humankind as well are that progress, sometimes damage that progress. So it's important that we all hold together, that we all care for each other, that we all think of each other, that we all sacrifice and suffer for each other. As she said, Udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Ayam najapparo veti ganana laguchetasam. Udara charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. See yourself in others. See the others in yourself. Our happiness is collective. Our future is collective. Division is death. So let us stay united. Let us feel for each other. Let us help each other. Let's be all happy together. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the coverage from the Indian Republic Day flag raising ceremony held at the Consulate of India. And once again, as I mentioned before, that under the COVID restrictions, the ceremonies took place, and it was wonderful to see so many people come together. Well, right now, in this news segment, we'll just quickly go and get an update from our Premier on the border, especially with New South Wales. Ready.
All right, let me know when everyone's ready. Good morning. Everyone's right? Okay. Well, good morning, Queensland, and good morning, Cairns. Well, it's an absolute pleasure to be here today. And of course, in more good news for Queensland, I can announce that we have only had one case in hotel quarantine of COVID overnight. So once again, really good news. And our test results are up from yesterday. So we have had 6,200 tests over the last 24 hours. So once again, that's great news. And of course, as Dr. Young said, if anyone does have any symptoms, please go and get tested. It's absolutely crucial. Any symptoms whatsoever, go and get tested. And we've got to keep those testing rates up. Well, I can also announce today, in further good news, Dr. Young advised me late last night, in discussions also with the Health Minister Yvette Darth, that the New South Wales residents are now all welcome back into Queensland 1 a.m. on the 1st of February. This is wonderful news. Just yesterday, I had the great opportunity of sitting down with a range of tourism operators here in Cairns, and we've got Mark and Ken here, and also to Minister Sterling Hinchcliffe and Assistant Minister Michael Healy and Minister Craig Crawford. And we sat down and we spoke to the operators. Now, over the Christmas holidays, there has been an increase of people coming to Cairns, which has been wonderful. But of course, we know that a lot of operators up here are doing it tough, and especially with JobKeeper ending at the end of March. I honestly think there is a case to be made to the federal government that perhaps Scott Morrison and the federal government could look at those industries that are doing it tough, and maybe JobKeeper does need to be extended for those industries. We know in other industries they have bounced back after COVID, and some industries are doing a lot better than others. But we do know that the tourism industry is hurting, especially those regions which relied heavily on international travellers. Now, Queensland spends about $12 billion a year, so Queensland is going overseas. That's not happening. I want Queenslanders to get out and about and explore Queensland. If your family has not been up to the Great Barrier Reef, this year is the perfect opportunity. There is so much to do here, from the Atherton Tablelands to the Daintree and all of the towns in between. You'll be met with friendly faces and friendly smiles. But of course, we know how important that New South Wales market is as well. So for those viewers that are currently in Sydney and you're looking for an escape, well, there's no better place to come than the tropical far north, where I think it's about 28 degrees at the moment, and it's just after 9 o'clock. But obviously there's so much to do, and we want to showcase to the rest of Australia what there is up here for you to experience. So, look, great news. I know it's been very tough on families, especially with the closure of the Greater Sydney area, but now's the time for families and friends to be reunited. The 1st of February gives some certainty around planning, and of course it also means that you will not need a border declaration pass to come here. New South Wales residents that would be in quarantine are able to be released on the 1st of February as well, which is great news. But also too, I want to see families and friends reunited. So wonderful news today that has been able to occur. Well, I'm going to hand over to our Minister to say a few words, and then Craig and Michael, and we'll hear from Mark and Ken. Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Premier, and it is great news to see the border being reopened to New South Wales, including Greater Sydney. This is a great boon for the tourism industry right across Queensland, but particularly here in the tropical far north. It was an excellent opportunity, as the Premier's made mention of, to sit down yesterday with people from across the industry, the tourism industry here in tropical North Queensland, here in Cairns, to hear from them about the impacts and the challenges that they've been experiencing as a consequence of the pandemic, and all of those impacts, both border-wise and economically, that have damaged and made challenges for their industry. But there's a really positive and capable group of people who are taking on these challenges head-on, and I'm really positive about the future and the way in which we can continue to work with them to support them going forward. I will make a further comment about the JobKeeper that the Premier's made mention of. JobKeeper, when it was brought in by the federal government, was a very, very useful tool, a very blunt force tool, but one that made a massive difference right across our economy and our community. But as we move forward, I think it's very important that the federal government pick up tools that are maybe a bit more finer grained, that they're a bit more sharp in how they respond to the needs of the economy, and in particular industries like the tourism industry, and in particular in those internationally exposed tourism spots like tropical North Queensland and the Whitsundays. I'd encourage Scott Morrison and the federal government, including Dan Tehan, the tourism minister, to work closely with us and with the tourism industry here in Queensland to respond to the needs as we go forward and maintain the great tourism industry that we have here, that people are very much welcome to enjoy. Great assets, great experiences, great opportunities here in the tropical north.
The minister rightfully mentioned there that the JobKeeper has been a great initiative of the federal government, and there have been calls. If you look at the Courier Mail for today, there have been calls from many businesses and industries for that to continue beyond March as well. So that is the call of the day. Well, right now, let's get a news from one of our sponsors before we go into the travel updates with Tanvi Goel of AusIndia.
GlobeNet Realty. GlobeNet Realty has been the longest established, trusted and respected agency in its trade area. Washa Chandra, Director of GlobeNet Realty, provides honest and ethical service to her customers. If you are thinking of investing in Brisbane real estate market, or if you are seeking professional property management, then you should contact Usha Chandra today on landline 3865 4466 or mobile 0419 775 416. And for further updates, log on to our website www.globenetralty.com.au. GlobeNet Realty is your own local real estate agency. Situated at Shop 52281 Sandgate Road, Boondall. GlobeNet Realty. Real estate is our world.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to this very important segment, hosted and presented by AusIndia Travel. And once again, welcome to the show, Tanvi.
Thank you so much, Umeshji. Thank you, everyone. Once again, here with the very brand new episode. It's a 14th episode. Oh my God, it's been a long way and really amazing journey with you all. I hope you all had amazing Australia Day and Indian Republic Day. And you had a good time with your family day before yesterday. And I also want to say happy journey to everyone who are flying tomorrow from Brisbane. So guys, stay tuned. I'll see you there as well. Now, before we proceed, I would like to say that these all information provided here are general information only. For all up-to-date information, please check all the relevant website. You can contact us as well because things may change anytime.
And of course they can, and as Tanvi has said, this is our 14th episode, and I must congratulate you, Tanvi, on being very persistent and been very regular and always keeping up to date and providing this up to date information, which is very valuable information for anyone who's traveling. And you have quite rightfully mentioned that this is general information only. Everyone's specific case will be different, and you'll also always need to check the updates of what's happening there with the rules and regulations, which keep changing as the circumstances change as well. But right now, moving on. So what is the main update for this week?
Basically, the very main update, which maybe many of you are waiting as well, that's Emirates. Guys, Emirates resumed back. We really never thought that this will happen, since they have cancelled all the flight, and we thought maybe they're going to resume in May. A lot of news were coming, but happily they have started back again this week. So that's really congratulations to everyone who have booked Emirates. And if, guys, you have not cancelled the flight or applied a refund, you might use the same credit for your flight. Or if you have not cancelled the flight so far, you can maybe use the same flight as well. Please check with your travel agent or wherever you have booked your flight. So yeah, that's all good to go. Now we have few more updates from Emirates, which are good actually. So Emirates crew on Australian flights have already been mandated to take PCR test 48 hours prior to scheduled departure from Dubai. But under the new adjustments, these tests will be administered in their homes, and crew then observe the self-quarantine there. So, yep, that's a good news that the staff is also, going to do the COVID test. So, it's all safe. Next up is the New Zealand. So, guys, as per the recent news, seems New Zealand is also not going to open their borders for the world for remaining year. And even the proposed trans-Tasman bubble with Australia seems they're going to launch that state-by-state basis as well. Now, there is also one very important update from New Zealand, that is, seems there was a woman tested positive in Auckland to the more virulent South African COVID strain. So Australian government has temporarily suspended inbound quarantine-free travel from New Zealand. So if you have traveled after 14th of January on or after 14th of January, then you have to self-isolate yourself at home. You have to do the COVID test and self-isolate until you get the negative test results. So that's really very, very important if you have came from New Zealand. And also now Air New Zealand has mandated the wearing mask. Seems it was not mandatory before, but now on anyone going on all the international flight on Air New Zealand flights have to wear the mask. So that's mandatory. Next up is from Singapore Airlines COVID trial. So Singapore Airlines mentioned that any packs departing from Singapore, Jakarta, Medan are now able to book pre-departure COVID-19 PCR test, and you can also receive the text on new one-stop online portal that's available online on airlines website, and yeah, it will be quite easy for you to do that. Next up from Bali, I know many of my Aussie friends out there are always waiting when the Bali gonna open, because you guys love to go Bali on weekends as well. But guys, as per the recent news from Indonesian government, they're going to close the border for tourists up till 8th of February at least. And after that, if things changes, hopefully the Bali will open. But at this stage, it's banned at least up till 8th of February. Next up from Alliance Airlines, and that's really amazing news that they are going to commence the jet services between Cairns and Townsville from today. So today, the Thursday, linking North Queensland to larger cities. So flight will initially operate once a week in each direction using the Alliance Fokker 100 jet aircraft. And the new service will be the only scheduled jet-operated flight servicing between Cairns and Townsville. So you might have, guys, those who are in North Queensland, there is a good news. I mean, that's a little hope that, something new and something nice is happening. So stay tuned for that. And I think I have to apply, probably go to Cairns as well to experience something like that. So those who are in Queensland, it's really amazing news for you. And I think I heard from a lot of you that you're still going to Cairns and planning your trip to Cairns in next few months. So yeah, you might apply, try this one. Next up is from Virgin Australia. So Virgin Australia has not resumed, or any of their short-haul international flights so far. But they are seeking to operate to Port Moresby and Rarotonga, while they have withdraw already services from Tonga in September. But seems they wanna have at least couple of options. So yeah, if you're planning to go those places, then stay tuned and be updated about that, guys. I have another amazing news for you all, and I know you all want to hear something positive, something nice. Positive, not in case of COVID, but positive in case of like a new hope. So those who are in Queensland, especially Gold Coast, there is amazing news for you all, which I just came across. So Star Gold Coast Tower, they have applied, they got the green light to put another tower, so the Star Gold Coast, and that's a $400 million development, with the Star Entertainment Group is calling as a tower for tourism. That will be 63-story mixed-use development that will include yet to be branded. They're probably going to have around 210-room five-star hotel, and planning to start to mid to late 2024. So it's quite a bit of time, but yes, you can definitely plan your journey there. Opening the second tower will build on the southeastern part of Broad Beach Island, so that's near Broad Beach, and the part of $2 billion master plan. So guys, I think that's really fantastic news that we're gonna have another Star Gold Coast around. And next up from Sydney. So guys, in Sydney, this time the Sydney Tower Eye is celebrating 40th anniversary this year, with its future now secured until at least 2030. So 2030, they have got the permission to have that. Then the observation tower will celebrate its lease extension this year with special events planned throughout the next 12 months. Now, please look out for that, because those especially are in Sydney. You'll probably see a lot of little events, celebratory events are coming in Sydney Tower Eye to celebrate their 40th anniversary this year. Seems the most amazing one which I came across, that they are planning to have some roller coaster ride above Sydney Tower with spectacular views of the city. So basically they're planning to have 2 new virtual reality pods at Sydney Tower Eye in order to celebrate the anniversary. So please look for that. So these are the main ones, and also want to refresh you all again about the border restrictions. So those who are planning via Melbourne or Sydney, you still have to get passes. Seems for Sydney not, but definitely for Melbourne. So if you're planning your journey from Melbourne, Sydney, in fact, if you are in going from Perth or Adelaide, please always check the border restrictions, because they keep changing all the time. And you might need some pre-approval, some entry permits, and you might have to complete some more documents, such as putting your postcode from where you're coming from when you're booking the domestic flights, and there may be a lot more things. So please keep checking the border restrictions if you are flying, especially interstate. That's for now from Main Update, Umeshi.
And quite rightfully said that we need to check all the updates before you make any plans. And of course, as you mentioned, there'll be a lot more travel in within the states. There's so many things that people can go and see and do, and it is wonderful to see that a lot of our locals are now discovering parts of Queensland that they had never seen before, and it was all here. We had people coming in from overseas to discover these parts, but we were not taking advantage. But now everyone's opening up, and some of the things that, I'm not saying a cliche item here, but many times, you would not see some of our people doing things that they're doing now.
That's it.
They're quite
you have to do it. So probably we have not explored our backyard before, but now when we go to our backyard, we're like, okay, there is something we haven't seen before. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
And it is quite rightfully said, and people are doing that, so that's very good. So, right now, what flight options do we have from Brisbane?
So the next available flight, guys, on 26th of February from Brisbane, and that's a Malindo charter, fare starting from $1,099, and there are the option of 15 clothes, 30 clothes, 40 clothes, and the business class 50 clothes. And we can also connect you to any city in India as well, so that should not be a problem. And also, like I mentioned before, that Emirates is back as well, and it's really good for those who are going to especially Ahmedabad and Kolkata and these places, because you can go just with one stop. And yeah, they are back, and their fare starts around $1,200 or $1,250. If you cannot make to these two options, then we can connect you to for Melbourne or Sydney. There are quite a few flights going once a week or twice a week, especially from Melbourne. So yes, there you have quite a few options, and especially this time there are some flight released up till March. So up till 25th of March, you have option to fly from Australia to India, and Brisbane can be connected to any of those flights. Amazing.
And that is once again wonderful news from Brisbane. And as we know, the charter flights are also happening, and it is good to see that happening. Well, right now, moving on, of course, we now our next stop would be Sydney. So what's the update, and what options do people have from Sydney at this point in time?
So, Macy, this time we have one flight launch in March as well from Sydney. That's on 4th of March. Still we have a couple of seats left in 30th of January flight, guys. That's a business class. Couple of seats left still if you need to fly. But after that, the next available flight after 30th January would be 13th of February, 18th of February. We have a flight to Bangalore on 25th of February and 27th February going to Delhi. And like I said, 4th of March is also there. And there are some Vande Bharat mission flights which you can think of.
So there are very good options from there as well. And now, not forgetting our lucky Melbourne with a smile once again. So what's the status of Melbourne flights at this point in time?
So lucky Melbourne, this week the 4 flights launch from Melbourne, and luckily 2 are Singapore Airlines one, and 2 are Sri Lankan Airlines one. So I'll tell you the flight from now on. So next available, you can have 30th of January flight. Yes, there is one flight from Melbourne and one flight from Sydney on 30th January. The 30th January flight still have a couple of seats left. So if you need it, please contact us immediately so you can get that flight. After that, you can have 5th of February, 19th of February, 5th of March, and 19th of March. These 4 dates are from Singapore Airlines. Then we have Sri Lankan Airlines on 11th February, 18th February, 25th February, 11th March, 25th March. So you can see that every week you have at least 2 flights going from Melbourne up till 25th of March. So you guys, once again, are the most luckiest one because you have the maximum flight available right now.
And that is wonderful news that, you know, the Melbourne has got maximum number of flights happening as well, about time. And of course, you know, they've had their fair share of restrictions as well. Well, right now we're talking about restrictions and everything, as we talked about, you know, people coming back from India. So any updates, or what's the situation now, or anyone planning to come back from India to Australia?
Okay, Moji, before we proceed to India, I also want to mention about the Perth guys. So Perth guys, you have one flight as well, just launched 18th of February. That's 1145 is the starting fare for that flight, and that's a direct flight you can have. And Adelaide guys, we can connect you from Sydney and Melbourne as well, and wherever you want, whichever flight you want. So there are quite a few options. Now coming back to India to Australia, as you may see, there is still situation is same. Since there are a couple of flights launched and planned, but still anyone, whoever wants to come, they have to register themselves with DFAT, and the website is covid19.dfat.gov.au. If you have not registered, guys, please do so. And please make sure you are updating your registration over there, and you'll be contacted by Qantas if you are selected in one of those flights. And for Air India also, you can get updates when the next flight coming. Please keep checking the Australian Stuck in India Facebook page. You can also send us expression of interest. We are already taking. And some of our partners also applied for charters. So hopefully there'll be charters in next few months, and if you send an expression of interest, we can contact you for upcoming flights, and you can like on our page and follow this show, so whenever there's the next flight available. But at this stage, really, we just have to wait and watch and see what's happening, and go from there. Namaste.
Is there any update on those 40 extra flights that Australian government said that they would launch, but that was going to be on priority basis? So, have any been allocated to, people from India to Australia?
We haven't got actually any information about that, Umeshji. That doesn't look like there is any date release, because generally it comes through. But I'll definitely have a look and come back to you on that if any updates are there. But yeah, I can't see any update as of now for that.
Thank you very much for that. So right now, all these updates have been provided. So what do you have in form of, traveling tips for people who are planning to travel now or in the very near future?
Umeshji, first of all, I will tell everyone who are flying from Australia right now, please fill your self-declaration form and Indian arrival form before, because I am, watching everyone every day that they're getting stressed filling those forms last minute. Generally, they say you have to fill 72 hours before departure, but these are 2 forms, guys, which you can fill anytime. Generally, 1 week before departure is a good time. There's only one form, which is self-exemption form, which you cannot fill before departure, because you have to do your COVID test 72 hours before your international flight, and generally you get your test result, the COVID test result, around 48 hours before or 25 hours before, and that's where you have to fill the self-exemption. But please fill those forms before, so you don't have any stress. And I'm gonna mention you once again, because even though we mention, in all our episodes and send you email with the links, but still, I think every day people are really confused and you don't want to fill the wrong information. I totally understand that. But let me tell you and go through with you once again, is that, you please fill only mandatory columns. So you don't have to worry that they're asking for tail number, they're asking for PN number. You don't have to worry about that. Just fill the mandatory columns. If in case you apply for self-exemption form or self-declaration form and they reject you, you can always apply it again, because sometimes your report is not clear, that's why you're rejected. Sometimes, they feel like there is one information missing, that's what they're rejecting. But I have seen many times that many passengers got rejected even 5-6 times, and after that they got the approval. So I think you should be fine with that. One thing which I came across recently is, seems in self-declaration form, instead of writing the acknowledgement number, they have started writing the PNR, the confirmation. That I'm talking about a self-declaration form. So PNR, guys, means a passenger name record. And that you generally see in all the itinerary except the charter flight. So please don't get confused with this PNR number. PNR number in your itineraries, or for your flight itineraries, and PNR number in your self-declaration form, both are totally different. So don't get confused with that. If you're getting PNR number in self-declaration, that's a different one. That means you are approved. So don't worry about it. Still, if you have any clarification or questions, you can always call us. Now, the next one up is about the Emirates. So like I mentioned before, I'll give you another tip here, which is please look for your Emirates flight if you have booked before. And if you're not applied refund, that's great. This time it's good that you have not applied refund, because you can resume. Maybe your same flight is going, and if in case not, then you can probably, rate change on the same flight. You don't have to pay for it again if you have not applied for refund for your Emirates flight. So please look into that. That's very, very important. Another one which I always mention is about your domestic flight check-in. Please always do so, because domestic flights, either in Australia or in India, keep changing. Some of the flights are getting cancelled as well. So please always make sure you do a web check-in 24 to 48 hours before departure, so you know exactly what's happening with your flight, whether it's on time, whether they need you to update anything, or whether they have changed or cancelled your flight, so you can plan your day according to that. And very last one, I would say about your India to Australia flights, guys, please don't get stressed. Just plan, just be updated that what needs to be done, please always check your emails and your phone numbers, phones whichever you have given in your registration, so that the authorities can contact you coming back. All I can say is situation is getting better day by day. It's not like it used to be before. And though you can say, the flights are still not there and how the situation is getting better, but we have more information coming these days, and seems it should open. But if you are feeling stressed, it's not going to take you anywhere. So please be updated and keep checking your emails and everything. And if you have any more questions, feel free to message us on the same video. You can go through our last 13 episodes as well. We have shared quite a few details there. And if you like this information, please share it, like it to all your contacts, and ask them if they have any question. We are happy to take all those questions. And once again, I'm very happy to say, doesn't matter guys whether you have booked with us or not, you can always contact us through any of the modes. So you can email us, you can put the message on Facebook, or you can contact us on our landlines, or on our phone number as well, on hotline, which is 040-440-3264. That's our hotline number. And you can jump on our website, and there's an option you can select for callback, or you can send us expression of interest or details. We are there for you. So please, I hope this information is helpful to you, and let us know how you go with your plans. Amazing.
I'm definitely sure that the information is very valuable to the listeners, and of course very valuable to someone who is planning to go or planning to get someone close to them from India, or vice versa. So I think the information is very vital, and it is very, very important. And you mentioned about Emirates flights resuming. I think that is generally a very, very good news as well. So ladies and gentlemen, and once again, we'd like to show our appreciation to Tanvi for providing this weekly update to everyone. This is the 14th episode, and as she mentioned, if you need to go back, look at the episodes, you can do that. You can also jump on our YouTube channel as well, and all the videos are there on the YouTube channel as well. So whichever takes your fancy, you can go either to Facebook or to YouTube and look at all the links there. And if you have any information, please do contact Tanvi, and she will gladly answer that, even though you might not have booked the flight through her, as she has mentioned, that it is not something that she would say no to, because in community interest and for passing on that information, she will do that. So once again, it's been wonderful having your company, and thank you so much, Tanvi, once again for all this information that you have provided.
Thank you so much, Umesh. Thank you, everyone.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. That's it.
Jai Bharat.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the weekly update from Tanvi Goel of AusIndia Travels. And as we know, during these sort of times when people are not sure what's happening and what's going to happen, so this kind of information in community interest is always quite handy to have. And as mentioned before, you can jump onto our website, our Facebook channels, and of course our YouTube channel as well, which has got all the old videos of of all the episodes with everybody on there as well. So right now, let's take a look at some of the functions and events taking place here in Brisbane. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. And once again, wonderful to have your company. And don't forget that tomorrow we'll bring to you the live coverage from Hindu Society of Queensland's Gayatri Mandir and Vishnu Maya Mandir. We have been spreading them around so that we have one topic per day or one coverage per day. Like today, we covered the Indian Consulate and the flag raising ceremony that took place there. And once again, it's wonderful to have your company. Please do share the video with your friends and do recommend, like and share and follow. Once again, thank you so much for your company. It's always so good to see you. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye. We'll get all the weekly updates for you next week as well. And don't forget that keep updated to see any updates on the Music Junction for this month as well. So until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me. Enjoy the rest of the day, but most importantly, stay safe.